Welcome to our interview today. My name is Marianne Kannengiese, and I'm very glad to have Dr. Meeta Nihlani here with me, who has specialized on an absolute astounding topic in homeopathy. And dear Meeta, would you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, I am Dr. Meeta Nihlani from India, and I've been practicing since 29 years. This is my third decade of practice. So, and I was blessed to have good mentors in my life which have taken my hand and have reached this far. And I would love to share my experiences. Recently, I was with Dr. Shankaran since 1991. So I have done sensation method with him. I love that method. And recently, we have Dr. Mahesh Gandhi who has been teaching us personal evolution method. So both these methods, they help us to understand a person at the deepest level of their experiences. So all this made me integrate many things in homeopathy, even the metaphysical things, the spiritual angle, and why the disease happens, what are the causes, what are the lessons the parents have to understand when the child is autistic, or what are the lessons the patient has to understand, and why the disease has come to you. Disease acts as a gift, right? So all these aspects I have explored, and I love to integrate all of these in my practice. So now I have formed Anahata Healing Foundation. So I integrate all the practices here. I even help my patients to meditate so that we can understand their deepest core. You know, sometimes we are not able to take case at the deepest level. So I help them to meditate and observe their sensations and be with themselves. So we reach a space of 0 point. So these all techniques I've integrated, and a holistic homeopathic center has been formed in my place.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And of course, I know Dr. Shankaran. I had the pleasure to attend a few of his seminars in Europe, and I did not understand the name of your second teacher. Who was that?
He's Dr. Mahesh Gandhi. So I have recently done fellowship in homeopathic psychiatry. Now we have formed a Vitalia Edge platform where we are dealing with psychic mental health patients, and we are creating awareness by doing webinars regularly. So that is a new venture now.
Meeta, we have problems with your microphone. Something is scratching on the microphone so that I can't understand you. I don't know what
Okay.
happens here.
Yeah, now are you able to hear?
Yes, yes, I can hear you fine now.
Mic.
So we
Okay.
need to go back when you talked about the second teacher, because this was a microphone mess.
Okay. Now it's clear?
Now it's clear.
Yes. Yeah, so we have Dr. Mahesh Gandhi who has been working on personal evolution method where we work on the inner age of the patient. We believe that, you know, a person is stuck at one inner age. There is one outer age and there is one inner age where we are stuck when you are diseased. So that is where there are coping up problems, and we go from ease to dis-ease. So I have done a fellowship, a psychiatry course with him, fellowship in psychiatry and counseling with him recently. So that is called as FHPC, and 9 of us have formed a group which is Vitalia H, and we are doing mental health webinars, and we are teaching as well as we are taking cases
Wow.
as a team. Yeah.
Wow. Um, this is often a problem I see here in our Western culture, that people wear an adult body, but in their mind and their emotions, they are children, or let's say teenagers.
Yeah.
And
That
this
is where, you know, yeah. So that is where we can help in autism. You know, when we deal with people of autism, so they have a child within. They are in the womb stage, right? So they are in the womb stage and they perceive the world threatening. You know, like, and they are in that blissful mode of the womb.
Yes, it's even in myself, it's still everything is too loud, too noisy, the colors are too bright.
Yeah.
And I trained a lot. I trained a lot, but the perception is still heightened.
Yeah. So that is what we say, that the person, he's in the womb stage and he likes, the womb is very dark and cozy. There are no movements, there are no colors, there is no voices, there are no noises coming out from outside. So there is no overwhelming. So most of the times in autism, what we see is that the person is in the womb stage and the senses are not developed. There is the sensory processing apparatus is not developed, and that's why there is a overwhelming reaction to the noises. They just like to sit in their own cozy world. They create their imaginary world where they feel safe and comfortable. So this is how we see the womb stage, and this is what Dr. Gandhi is working on, we are working on. So it becomes easier to understand the person from that point.
This is very interesting to me, especially to me. It's very interesting. Meeta, how did you meet homeopathy? Have you been treated with homeopathy as a child yourself, or how did it enter homeopathy into your life, your personal life?
Yeah, in my personal life, see, in India, it's a trend. When we study, it's either medical or it's either engineering. We had only two options. The parents had their dreams, like either my child is going to become a doctor or an engineer. That trend still goes on till date, 30 years ahead from that time. So that is a time when, since childhood I was at, I want to become a doctor. But when I was in 12th, I couldn't score that much. I was not well. I had jaundice during my examination, so I was not able to score up. So I just accidentally landed in the realm of homeopathy. It was not a chosen one. So this is what happens in most of us. But what happened was I got a very good professor of organon, and the day he started sharing how homeopathy was and the history of homeopathy, and how a gentle mode of treatment was needed. Especially, what touched me in my very first lecture was the way they used to treat the mental, in the asylums by ECT and not treating it. So that sensitivity somehow made me commit my life to homeopathy. A gentle, permanent, rapid way. So from that very first lecture, I have committed my life to homeopathy, and it goes on. The passion is increasing till date. And 8 to 10 years ago, when I saw a case of Dr. Mahesh Gandhi, in which he had the patient required, he was given 30 ECTs every 15 days, every week, and the patient himself used to understand that now I need that ECT. So he used to travel so much, and he used to go to Dr. Gandhi. And Dr. Gandhi is a MD psychiatrist. He's in the allopathic field, and from there he learned homeopathy to see that patients are helped better. So that was something which triggered my conscience, and I wanted my life to, so since 10 years I'm working on psychiatry and psychiatric cases.
This is very
That is how I
interesting
like it.
because
Yeah.
in the Western world, not too many colleagues are working on the psychological and psychiatric cases with homeopathy. And for me, it's still astounding how good it works.
It was absolutely okay, absolutely well, even in bipolar disorders. Here we have patients who are, asked to get admitted in the asylums, in the mental hospitals. And because homeopathy can understand the core, where that core is, where the central disturbance is, we are able to help them to cope up with life and to come out of that core, because we deal with the core issues rather than, just a symptomatic treatment.
Mhm.
So when
How,
the core issue is addressed, we can help them.
how do you go about really hitting the core issue?
Please repeat, I didn't get it.
Um, what is your method to really understand the core problem of the client?
Oh, oh. So that is, like we had initially we used to work on the symptoms, and then we used to see the materia medica, and then we used to understand the provings. But with time, we understood that disease is a delusion. It is just a faulty perception of life. So that is where we started to work in 1994, around 25 years. Disease is a delusion, and where the perception is altered. So that was the point we started working deeper. And with gradually with time, we came to a point with sensation method where we understood that there is one altered energy pattern within you, right? Where there is one altered energy pattern which is just expressing in the form of symptoms. So the core is inside, which is in the form of patterns, and it is expressing in the chief complaint. It is expressing in the dreams. It is expressing in the your fantasies, your fears, and your childhood. So it is the same pattern. It is the same core thing which is being expressed. Like for, I like to give this an example. Like, you know, if you have liver problem and if you come to me, so when I ask the experience, you know, when I go into the deep experience of that liver problem, you know, the patient says it is an, I experience it as a stab, right? So when I see this stabbing, you know, the experience as if being stabbed, when I go deeper, I see the same fear of being stabbed in the dreams. He has the dreams as if he is being pursued for stabbing. He has the same fear. He avoids movies where there is stabbing, right?
Mhm.
And he is scared of watching, he's scared of seeing the blood and the knives. So what happens is, through the chief complaint, the fear of knives is getting global. So now I work at this level and I work at the deeper patterns rather than the exterior manifestation, which is the liver problem.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
you're looking in the materia medica for delusions around knives.
Yeah, and here I see what is the experience. Like, he experiences as if somebody is attacking him. So that takes me to the animal kingdom, or it is just a sensitivity to that pain, which is, you know, touch that point where he's oversensitive. Then it becomes a plant, or he talks about his lacking. You know, "Okay, I lack to retaliate. I lack the power to run." So if there is energy on the lacking, then it's a remedy from mineral kingdom. So with sensation method, when we go deeper, we use these hand gestures, you know, that is where what problem we face in most of the cases, you know, we can't prescribe when the patient is talking from the conscious mind. So we have to take symptoms from the subconscious mind. So this is, you know, so very, when he speaks about the experience, the body moves. You
Mhm.
get the non-verbal and the energy patterns. So we follow these energy patterns and we just trace them so that we see a global and holistic picture.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Like in a case of butterfly, we can see that, you know, the patient, he is very sensitive and the energy is very refined. And, you know, the person likes to just go around and wander and have that happy energy, you know, like the butterfly. And the person is very artistic, you know, like they say, "Okay, I'm intrigued by insects." I had a case with the person, "I'm intrigued by insects. I am intrigued by the minuscule details." And she was an artist. "I love the colors. I love the colors," you know, and she was attracted towards, you know, many boyfriends. And that is how the butterfly goes, you know, the magnetized feeling for every beautiful, charming flower in around.
Mhm.
So that is how the pattern resonates. So I love to work on patterns.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the remedy given was butterfly in that case.
Yeah. So you could as well say it's belief patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Now, you took your specialization on the psychiatric cases, and you said you were very impressed on how, let's say, conventional medicine treats them and not really sufficiently treats them. And in
Yeah.
some cases, we have to say, not even really understands them.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about a person I know severely suffering from a bipolar state and never really found help.
Yeah.
And I was just impressed when you said that you were working on bipolar cases and that you could help them very well. Can you talk about a bipolar case just for a moment?
Yeah. See, recently I had a case in which there was a that girl, she had that manic depression. So at one point she used to be very mild and silent and very clingy, and she didn't have that capacity to be on her own, and she used to depend on her mother. And on the other end, you know, she had those cravings for food. So every time she used to, when she was stopped for food, you know, she used to like this junk foods daily. So she used to leave her home for 4 o'clock, at 4 o'clock in the evening, and she used to come back at 9. You know, she hunting for fast food all over the locality, and she used to spend around in 1,000 INR daily for that fast food, and that gained her weight. She gained around 20-25 kgs in a span of 4 to 6 months. So here, you know, whenever she was told that, you know, don't take this junk food, So she used to react like anything, she used to have that manic phase, she used to throw tantrums, she used to throw stuff. So here I gave her a remedy which, belongs to the bowel nostrils, the gut. She had a craving for cheese, she had unhealthy craving for butter and very oily Chinese food. So when I gave her that remedy, Proteus, and it beautifully settled the case. The tantrums were gone, and then she did realize that 20 kg weight is up. So she has started doing yoga twice a day. She has started cycling. She's cycling around 15 kilometers per day. So, and even her speech has become soft. So in this case, we could see that, the gut bacteria, these were the the altered gut bacteria, they were creating the mental and physical disorder in her case.
This is very interesting what you're saying, because I myself observed in bipolar persons, from a conventional medicine point of view, disorder in the gut bacteria. And
Yeah.
there has to be a correlation on that. It's very interesting that you point that out. Did you find the same thing in autism? A relation between gut bacteria and the autistic spectrum?
Yeah, there is a symptom, especially the gluten sensitivity. It is a gluten sensitivity which I'm seeing in autism cases. So till the time I get the remedy, when I find out the remedy, the exact similum, which has to be very fingerprint exactness is needed, right? So till the time I get that remedy, I'd ask them to be dairy free, sugar free, and gluten free.
Definitely.
So yeah, so these three things, but as the remedy starts working, I start introducing one by one all these things, back to the patient.
That means with the right remedy, the microbiome alters itself. It's
Yeah,
somehow a healing of the microbiome included.
yeah, the vital force knows what to heal, right? That is what homeopathy is. So we don't have to specifically work at the microbiome. If it is altered, the vital force, it will rule with unbound its way, as we have learned in organon, and everything is taken care of. Most of my patients, even if they come for migraine or behavioral problem, the first change when the remedy is loaded, I see is they have a craving for healthy food, the home food which is cooked in India. We cook thrice a day. Home we cook like hot food daily, thrice a day. We have 3 meals a day. So we cook, most of our diet many a times is vegetarian, vegetables. So most of my patients, even they don't like to have non-veg that time. They come to this vegetarian diet on their own without asking them. And we can see a definite change in their structure also. This appears slim. They have that healthy craving for doing yoga also.
Mhm.
Normally, there's a fad in teenagers. They want to go for the gym, they want to have their protein shakes, they want to go for all these fads. But when there is a cure from within, when there is a ease from within, there is a calling for yoga. That is what I'm seeing recently.
Really?
Yeah.
So for Indian people, of course, I would say yoga is the thing to do. What would you expect from a Western, from somebody who grew up in the Western world, to do naturally as
They go for walk, cycling, the natural. They'll not follow the fads, whatever they feel. It is just choosing what syncs with your own body. It is not going after the fads. That you find your own way of ease. So it can be just jogging, it can be a dance, it can be anything what your soul desires. So you're in sync with your own inner being. And then you are able to select what to eat, how to exercise, and everything is in sync with your inner being that time.
so in reality, we see that the client grows up innerly.
Yeah.
It's going to be an adult being, a balanced and adult being.
Yeah, adult being. He just reacts to his own age. Like, we have many ladies we see in parties, they don't dress according to their age. They don't, dress up gracefully. So we see that, they'll be wearing all the dresses which teenagers are wearing. They will try to compete with teenagers. So when we give the remedy, we see them that, they shift their dressing also to their own age, and, they become more graceful,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
very interesting to me. Could you tell us about one case in autism that really was astounding to you? Maybe
Yeah,
something that impressed you really deep.
yeah. So it was a first case of autism, which I think it was my first experience with autism. So when I gave the remedy, the mother, she came to me and she spoke, she said one thing, that now my child, he puts his feet on the ground. I'm getting this goosebumps right now. But she said, my child is putting his feet on the ground. He's playing in mud. He's not bothered when the mud is touching him. He's not bothered, when his face is, he comes home and he takes a bath, but he's not cranky. So that was the first experience when I saw that, okay, in autism we have grounding issues and this child has now started grounding. Right. So that was very beautiful. And when she came for the second follow up, she gave me this key. Ma'am, now my child has started playing in rain. He's just going out and he's touching these droplets. So that was, very intriguing for me, how he is having that elemental healing, the healing with earth, healing with water. And the third, in, like, this is what we say in Hindu, this, right? There is an elemental healing. So I could see this healing with Panch Tattvas, the water, the earth, right? And this was coming from a layman, from a mother who doesn't know anything about these. So there I could understand, okay, in autism, the patient is not grounded. He's not grounded in his own senses. And that is the tools we give, when we take the patient, that children to the therapy. What happens if we ask them to play with balls, with dough, we ask them to touch different textures. So what are we trying to do is ultimately we are trying to ground them in their own senses, which was happening with the medicines, right? And the third change in the child was, he started observing himself in the mirror, and he used to just relish himself watching. He just tried different clothes, he tried caps, and he tried different goggles. So he was, enjoying his body, and that is what is not and doesn't happen in autism. You don't feel that you're grounded in your body and senses.
Yeah.
So step by step, with each follow up, these things started happening, right? So this was the first case, and here I understood exactly what we have to do, what happens after the simillimum, what are the changes we expect in autism, and what is cure for autism, right? So this was the first case which brought me to this idea of grounding, which happened in each and every case after this.
Mhm. And when we talked before, you told me that you often find a correlation between the mother's remedy that was needed during pregnancy and the remedy the child needed to cure the autism. Could you
Yeah.
please explain a bit more about that?
Yeah. So this is, what happens in autism. We have patients, we have clients who are children. Most of the time they are not able to articulate, right? Autism is that not able to express. They don't have a language, and that is what we have to give them. So most of the case taking, it depends on observing the child, right?
Hmm?
Just observation, right? And the second part of the case taking is mother's history during pregnancy. That is MHDP, right? So we take that history very intensively, what the mother was going through, what were her experiences, what were her traumas, what were her challenges, and how did she deal, what were her reactions, and what were her adaptation to the challenges. So that, like, in a recent case of autism, what I saw is the lady, she had an intercaste marriage. In India, we still have that caste system, and we still, our parents choose the partner for us,
Yeah.
right? So this lady, she was an HR. She was educated also, but she belonged to a different caste, and she married a Bengali, which is the eastern side of the Indian culture. So this lady, even in spite of being so educated, she wanted to adapt so much with the husband's culture that, she even she learned that language of her husband. She even dressed up like that. She had that full red vermilion bindi, which we say. She was totally looking. I couldn't believe that she's not a Bengali lady, right? She had even changed her food habits. They have lots of fish, so even she had changed her food habits. So her wearing, her speech, her language, everything was according to her husband's culture. And when And she was not accepted by her family after her marriage. Her father just broke all the cords of, and he did not allow his mother also to talk to her. So she practically, she had no roots in her family. She did not have anything to go back to, look back to, and she was not allowed to work. And she had a mother-in-law who was very strict. She keep on, nagging every time. So she didn't have anything to look back, and there was no option for her to just settle down in the culture. So now her daughter, she is autistic, and the daughter doesn't speak, but the daughter only responds to the Bengali songs. She responds and she has a smile only when she listens to that Bengali song. And it was so, um, I can't express, how you felt, that the mother has lost her identity in the process of adapting to her family needs, that the child even has lost her identity and she doesn't know who she is, and the only thing she can respond is to the Bengali songs.
Somehow sad, but somehow very fascinating.
Yeah, it was very sad. It was, like we think that the mother is so proud ki I have adapted to the culture, but she doesn't realize, that is the main irony, or that is the main this, like you don't even realize that what cost you're paying of that adaptation. What cost you're paying? You have lost your soul, and at the same time, the child you have born is also lost the soul. And interestingly, in this lady, when her mother-in-law died, she conceived a second child when after her mother-in-law, and that child is normal because that adaptation was not needed.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you take music into the healing of that autistic child, or only the homeopathic remedy?
Yeah, I see. First, so I try to give a homeopathic remedy, but till the time, most of the times, sometimes it's not easy to come to a remedy. So in between, we use this. I use, like when the mother is pregnant, I take sessions, healing sessions for the mother during pregnancy. Whenever they have that turmoil, so they come to me every week, and they are so. And in those cases who have just followed this meditation session with music with me throughout the pregnancy, they are so happy to have, they can feel the child has a different energy. The child is very bright, the child is very confident, and the child is in control of his life, and you can see it on their face. So there are patients in general also, whom I call during pregnancy. I have sessions with them every week.
This is very interesting to me. So you begin the child's care and the child's therapy while the mother is still pregnant, and you go on a spiritual path with the mothers so that the child will be more happy. Is this correct?
Yeah, is it correct? It's more happy and it is more evolved. The
Yes,
child is more evolved. It has an evolved consciousness. We can see that consciousness blooming of that child.
it's very interesting to care for mothers instead of having them traumatized in that very sensitive period. Really care for them, he really make them happy, and really care for their growth. Of course, we have other children after that.
Yeah.
It's very, very impressive work you're doing. My congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is how we create another generation that
Yeah,
can be more peaceful and more grounded on the earth and more interacting with everything.
yeah. Every child deserves a happy parent. Every child deserves a happy parent. If a parent is happy, we'll never have autism in our world.
Very, very interesting. Did you find in autism a special spectrum of remedies, let's say more plant remedies or more animal remedies?
Yeah. See, what is it? It's not about the kingdom, but it is the the primitive plants, the primitive animals, and the primitive minerals. Means when we see the periodic table, the second row, the first and second row of the periodic table, mostly they have a tendency to go into autism. All the noble gases, the 18th column is like prone to autism, right? Because they live in the shell. All the noble gases in minerals. In plants, all the primitive plants, like all Ranunculaceae or Papaver family, in Ranunculaceae, the skin is very, in the plants, the skin is very thin. So that is how the person reflects it. The person doesn't have any boundaries. So we have now 6 subclasses according to the development of the plant. So the first subclass, the thin, they don't have any structure,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have their borders, they don't have their skin, they don't have their boundaries. So everything penetrates, right? We have Asaram Europeum, the remedy, where we have the keynote, like every shrill sound penetrates inside and he's not able to listen to the sound. So this is what we get in autism, the sound is not, they are not able to bear that. Everything just overwhelms them, it enters them. So all these first subclass remedies, we use them in autism. Although we do have cases where we have the cases of 6 subclass, which is the king series, because it's a king, he feels that he's going to have that, he's going to be persecuted. So in few cases we see that 6 subclass also we have remedies, we have autism because he is threatened. So the difference between the first subclass and the 6 subclass is the first subclass will withdraw into his own senses, he'll just withdraw. And in the 6 subclass he'll withdraw from people around, he'll just like he'll withdraw into himself. So we have remedies from first subclass and 6 subclass. And also in the order of evolution, we have the inner age mapped according to Erik Erikson's chart.
Mm-hmm.
Erik Erikson's has 8 phases. So in this, we have Dr. Gandhi has added a womb stage before first stage. The oral phase, we have a womb stage. So all the remedies, like stramonium, the Solanacea remedies, the nymphiales remedies, the rosacea remedies, all these belong to womb stage. So remedies from this stage, they help a lot in autism. These are the remedies which we can accept. The upper, the first subclass, the last subclass.
Okay. So in autism, I often saw that people could connect to plants and to animals, but not to humans.
Yeah.
So this would be the 6th subclass.
Yeah, it could be the 6th subclass, or it could be some animal remedy also where they feel threatened by the humans. It can be a primitive animal remedy like mollusca.
Okay.
Right? They just withdraw in their own shells because they come out and when they see the world is threatening, the human is threatening, because human has a complex mentality, complex psychology. So these are very naive. The energy in autism is very naive. They are very pure. They love to be in that purity, state of purity, and they are very idealistic also. Their idea of life is very idealistic. It's only 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. They don't know to make 2 plus 2 5. They don't know how to make it, and the world around is threatening, the humans are threatening. So that's why they connect more to animals, they connect to plants, they connect to art. They are very sensitive, they connect to the colors. So they connect directly to the energy because they are in their own energy base form.
Interesting. What recommendation would you make to parents who have an autistic child?
See, first and foremost, for parents, I will suggest that even before they are ready to conceive, or even I just give a advice to parents who are even before marrying, they have to be complete on their own rather than seeking that completeness from the other relationships. So it is only two complete human beings who can make a good relationships. So even taking homeopathy before marriage, knowing yourself, working on yourself, being your better version, and only getting into a relation after that, we can start from there. So happy relationships, happy parenting, happy child. So it is all about evolution. This our homeopathy is all about evolution. We get a disease where we are stuck in one level of evolution. So we are here to evolve. So when we get these concepts, like if you remove a human being out of this chain, every other animal is in the predatory chain, it's in the food chain. Only a human being is out of this chain. Why? It is only because human is here to evolve.
Yeah.
God has given, that we see it from metaphysical or spiritual angle. We are here to evolve. We are not in the food chain. We are given this human body to, be evolved and, be a better version of ourselves. That is the only thing we are here to come out, listening to our own being, following our own life purpose. And then, so this is what I suggest, like try to complete yourself first. So I suggest homeopathy to all. It's not for disease, you're not, homeopathy is not only to treat migraine. What is migraine? When I see migraine is not a headache. It means that you are not happy. You're not getting pleasure in your life. You are not, that sex in your life is not, like you're not having that pleasure. So you have to see the broader aspect of sex. Sex is, just being with yourself, being happy. That what we say is, your sacral chakra has to be bloomed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to find time for yourself. It's not just going in a pattern. You have to be with yourself. You have to take time for your own music, for your own reading. So all these things, when you start doing these things towards self-love, then you start getting healed for migraine. So homeopathy is not only for diseases. It is here to help you to evolve. This is a message which I would like to give to parents.
Okay. I hope that your words are heard by many people. Homeopathy is not for treating disease only. It is to help to evolve and get the possibly best version of yourself
Yes, and give back to the world.
and give it back to the world. In the
Give
end,
it,
it's all about
make it a
service.
beautiful place. Yeah, make it a beautiful place.
Yeah. So you wanted to tell me something about the spiritual work you are doing with your clients.
Yeah, that's what. See, I just ask them to, like we have regular meditation sessions. In those meditation sessions, if the patient, we have weekly sessions. So there are some people who are happy with doing those weekly sessions. And sometimes they know, they come when you meditate, they go to their, they get flashes of some childhood, they get some trauma which is surface. Normally what we do is we put this trauma under the carpet, right?
Yeah.
Most of the times we are taught that we put this trauma under the carpet, but what happens in meditation, this trauma surfaces. Everything from the subconscious, it comes from into the conscious mind. So I help them to integrate this, whatever, we can call them as inner demons. I help them to integrate these inner demons with them. So we do have personal sessions with them. Sometimes we have people who are, they're having this sexual abuse. So yeah, so in one of my meditation session, that lady, she started crying, so much that whole of my first floor where I have my center, meditation center, it was just echoing with her voice. And then she remembered, in her childhood she was abused by her father. So I helped her to integrate that thing. So sometimes, like even if they are not coming for homeopathy, we can just help them to integrate. Ultimately it is dealing with the inner demons, right?
Healing the inner demons.
Whatever experiences, the negative experiences you're stored within your mind which you're not dealing, so you have to help yourself to deal with them, at least to face them, to see them, and once you just see them and observe them, they start resolving. That is the beauty. You don't have to do anything also for those traumas, and at a point you have to take responsibility of that trauma. Okay, whatever happened to you was your own inner calling, or was your own lesson. That is what you have chosen from that dimension, and that was, you have come to earth school. This is a school for you,
Yes.
right? So this is an earth school. So that experience was just an experience chosen by your soul to learn something and integrate and let go. And what we as human do, our mind is a gift, the reason gifted mind, but it also acts as a, it acts as a our main rival, right? Because it stores the negative experiences.
Mhm.
It is a store out. So what we have to do, we have to integrate all these negative experiences, own them, and embrace them and let go. So that is what healing is. So sometimes, homeopathy has to be very fingerprint specific. It has to be exact. The simillimum has to be exact. And I can say that it's not possible I can give 10 on 10 patients, I can give a simillimum, right? So there are some patients who I'm not able to help with homeopathy, because although I do help them at a level, but not to the core, right? Because I can't see the core pattern in many of the cases. So I take them for the meditation sessions, the inner child healing sessions. So there, what happens is they integrate also, and the innermost flashes, they come out, and then the pattern also comes out, and it gives me homeopathic remedy. So we do have meditative case takings. I do meditative case takings also for my patients. I take them to the zero space with sensation method. When we ground that sensation, what is a sensation? It is a sensation which is felt at your inner being, which is common to mind and body, right? So when you come to that sensation, when you are in that being, you are in a zero state. So that zero state helps, it is a portal for inner healing. So I get an access to the innermost dimension of the patient in that zero state of meditation. So this is a spiritual angle of homeopathy, you can say, or it is a spirituality. Because when we go deeper, nothing is different. It is everything is common. At a deeper point, everything is one. Be it spirituality, be it inner child healing, be it homeopathy, everything comes to the one thing. Right? It
Yes.
narrows down, zeroes down to just one thing.
Yeah. And when you take your patients down to a trance state where the trauma can surface and they can understand what happened and can let go and integrate, do you have special continuity for those cases? Are they coming on a weekly basis, or how do
Yeah,
you deal with them?
initially they come weekly. Sometimes it takes them 15 days for processing what is happening. Right, so it is a process, and sometimes during the process, if I get a simillimum, then there's nothing like it. Then these processes, they just cut down. If we get a simillimum, then there is no need for processes. The simillimum, the homeopathic simillimum, is a boon for human beings. But
Yes.
it is only when we are destined to get that, because we need to learn our lessons. And I've seen the spiritual angle. When you are ready to learn those lessons, it is only then you get your simillimum. Otherwise, we just keep on wandering here and there. So
Mhm.
I need absolute surrender from my patient. There are many patients who come like this, just take the case and all. So it doesn't work for such kind of people. It never works because there is a surrender which is needed, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
It's in the end, it's all about trust and surrender and service.
yeah. It's all about that. It's all about the compassion.
Mita, you know that I'm planning to do a petition to the WHO,
Okay.
and that in many countries we have censorship of homeopathy, and our colleagues are in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Homeopathy is not as well appreciated as in India, in many countries of the world.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you to address to the WHO why homeopathy should remain under the medical methods of treatment for everybody in the world.
Yeah, even we have signed many petitions when we hear that it is not allowed in UK, it is not allowed in Germany. I have a friend from Belgium, he's Fons, even he tells us this, like it's not, they are not allowed to practice this openly in his state also.
And it's very sad thing. So
Yeah, it is.
it's very sad thing because I know homeopathy saved my life very often. And I'm very grateful just that it exists. So what I want you to do is just give a short testimonial and tell the world why homeopathy needs to be available for everybody.
See, it is a patient who will decide that, like if I'm able to help him, he is not going to abide the laws. He will come to me, come what may. So I think it is a patient's testimonial. It is their experiences when they are cured, the kind of gratitude they have for us when we heal them. So I think we have to be more, like the patients, they really want to come back and tell us, how it has shifted their life. So that is what I think we can do is, we can collect all the testimonials from the patients, and ask them to, because if we say it is just talking, enough of talking now. I
Okay.
think it's only the results and patients, it is them who have to approve us, and not approve us, but they have to just share their experiences. And nowadays we are seeing that, patients are openly, gratefully sharing their experiences on Facebook also, on social media also. They are coming up. They are not hiding anything nowadays.
It's very good. So I will come back to you and ask for a few testimonials of your clients, if that is okay with you.
Yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely. yeah, I'll share. I
Okay.
would love to.
Hmm?
I would love to share.
Yeah, this is very nice of you.
And
So,
I'm so grateful for those parents. They have shared. They have given the permission to share it or any social media. The parents have given me that permission with their videos and names.
no, this is great because this is one of the possibilities that we can really change something, I think. And if we don't act now, it will get more and more complicated.
Yeah, I agree.
So, any final words you want to say?
I just want to say that homeopathy is life. Homeopathy is it's a gift to humanity. It is not only about disease. It is just a way of being. Just experience homeopathy and see how it. You just bloom like a flower after having your simillimum. So it's not about disease also. You are cured magically of all the diseases. Like I'm working in bipolars, I'm working in autism, renal stones, migraines, there are so many because the structure is same. Like we have to work on the central disturbance. We have to just shift how we perceive life. So just give homeopathy a chance. Just even if you don't believe, we believe our master's word. Dare to be wise. Just have that conviction to just do something which is not which is beyond expectations. It's a miracle. Homeopathy is a miracle.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. We are blessed to be homeopaths. There is no other noble profession on earth other than this.
Noble is a good word for it. I like it.
Yeah.
I really like it. Thanks so much, Meeta. Thanks for giving us all the information and all the stories and all the impressions of your specialization, and I really appreciate your work.
Thank
And
you.
I'm
Thank you
very
so
glad that you do it and that I now know somebody whom I can recommend and yes, tell people in the Western world more about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the work you're doing. Thank you for the work you're doing for homeopathy.
Yes, it's time to give back for me.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.